just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. You are listening to us on RNC Radio, the A Show, RNC Network. I am Justin, here with Meelz. We are past Memorial Day. It is officially, not officially on the calendar, but I mean, it's damn well officially the summertime. Meelz, what's going on?
I got my first haircut today. I'm very excited. I don't think I've received a call I was more excited in the last 3 months than my barber calling me, or my barber texting me and telling me to like call him as soon as possible. And I was like, "What? Are you what?" And then I missed it. Then he missed the first call, and I was like, "Damn!" And then he called back, and I answered on like the first ring. I was like, "Yo, what are we doing?" And he's like, "Oh, just come through." Blah blah blah. So now my head feels lighter. We very much feel lighter.
Bro, I have not seen my loctician since March. I haven't got a haircut since then either. I looked up how to do your own retwists, and I immediately shut the page down when I saw how long it takes. and this is for like regular length. My hair is now down to my shoulder because it's still growing, even though I haven't gone. And usually when you get a retwist, you see like your length.
Goes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's growing without it right now. So I was like, this will take me at least 10 hours to do it by myself, like every single part.
But it's a thing that people do. You understand it, right? Like, there's plenty of women who like do their own hair, do their own twists, do their own things, do their own extensions, and it legitimately takes them to like they don't leave the house for the day. You're just accepted that day is for doing my hair, and I'm not leaving until it's done.
Bro, so, I just don't know if it's worth the trouble, right? Like, I don't know.
What you got to lose? What else are you doing?
I'm doing this podcast. I mean, a lot of different things.
Oh, you ain't Diddy. Come on, relax.
Oh, man. Oh wow, hitting me with the classic line. When you see me next time, I'm wearing a beanie for a fucking month.
But there's no way you're ruining your dreads, man.
No, it's just so much work put into them. But I'm gonna hold out for it. I had to actually wash my hair on my own, and that didn't go well either. And all of the listeners, I know there's a lot of listeners that we have that actually, go through the same thing. Washing your own hair is an ordeal because I don't have like a mirror, or not a mirror, but I don't have a sink, like an actual salon sink. So I had to do it in the shower. And it didn't go well at all. It was actually terrible. But you know why I did it? You know what time I did it? I did it at 2:00 in the morning, and that's probably my first mistake. Yeah.
No, so I've seen a lot of things that are being done around that time. People are cooking at 2 a.m. People are getting stuff done. 2 a.m. is to 10 p.m. That's what it is. Like 2 a.m. I've lost all semblance of time. I woke up today thinking I had a meeting at 10 a.m. and then I also had the haircut thing, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna get to this meeting, then I'm gonna run and get my haircut and go. And also, it's not even the day for my meeting. I could have slept like a whole nother hour or two. So it's I have no idea what day of the week it is. I hit you up and be like, oh, it's the day after Raw. Must be time to record.
Yeah. So what's funny? What's funny? Like, we didn't even like text each other until literally like 2 hours ago about doing this show. I just knew it was coming.
Yeah. Every day in a week, it's just like I know it's coming. It's usually what happens after Raw. So whatever. Like today, even with continuing to go off this thing, I forgot to post Usually I schedule the lookout stuff to be posted at a certain time.
Oh, wow.
Completely forgot. Luckily, I just, I was getting a haircut at the time, so it's like I couldn't.
Well, lucky you. I love that you keep mentioning this haircut. when I just said that I haven't had one in almost 3 months. So thank you for that.
It's just wow. The things that a haircut can do for your mood and just your outlook on life in general.
I think
you guys are opening up. You guys are opening up.
Well, they said. Well, the mayor said today that he's going to allow in stage 3 barbershops and salons to open up. I don't think that where I live at right now, we're even past stage 1. So
I'm not. We're not even in stage 1. New York City has not cleared all of the things because we still. One of the things is. Wow, we're getting super newsy on this. One of the things is like 30% of hospital beds need to be prepared, and then there's another benchmark that we have to, go over that we're not there yet. And phase 1 is just construction can really just continue again, and it's not even like haircuts or anything, and like curbside pickup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's not even like a damn. You can get haircuts. At least you guys are getting that. Like You saw where I had to do. Everyone's saying I had to enter some Streets of Rage level to get my haircut.
Yeah. We're not even gonna talk about how you were able to even get a haircut. I know a lot of people are like perplexed and wondering how that happened, and also worrying about your well-being. Meelz is on some underground deep web shit with a haircut. I'm not even trying to like understand how that even worked, but you know what? You got it, pal. You got it. I don't even want to know. I don't know.
Here we are.
Wrestling. How about it? Let's talk about some wrestling this week. What a bummer of a week. Actually, before we get into the bummer stuff, we had a question from a guest of ours. I want to get into it. Shout out to Sin Vidius, the homie. He was a guest on the show last year during our anniversary show, and we had to make sure that we got him on because there were just so many like problems. It was it was so much stuff going on last year, but he had a question for us. So of course we got to get to him first on the show. He said he was thinking about how we gave Bayley her flowers, and while he was watching the Undertaker's Last Ride documentary, he wanted to know what are some matches that we think someone deserved flowers for, where someone carried someone inferior, older, or injured to a decent match, and that is a great question.
Oof. Okay, so. This is going to be a no-brainer. And this is like super old. So don't even like claim, it's not my real pick, but it's the one that immediately jumps off my head.
Okay.
Ric Flair. Ric Flair was apparently carrying all types of milkmen in the 80s. 60-minute classics everywhere in every territory in every part of the country. So I'm just going to say Ric Flair, flowers, because 60-minute Broadways all the time. He had Sting. Sting was pretty green, apparently, still, where he had him in these matches and made him look like the new star of the company and pretty much signed like Sting's entire career is kind of owed to that Ric Flair match. So I'm immediately off the head as like Ric Flair. In terms of something more recent, well, what do you got?
I mean, I was going to go recent. I was going to say, and we always do this here. I might think of something more outside the box the more that we talk about it, but Daniel Bryan and Big Cass from 2 years ago.
Ooh, so get this. I did the wrestling thread, the NXT wrestling thread. Never forgot to talk about it on this show like 80 times of that NXT wrestling thread that people genuinely liked of these deep cut matches. So I was thinking of doing one for Backlash matches and seeing like, oh, what are the best Backlash matches? Because Backlash is a long-standing pay-per-view. Completely forgot that Daniel Bryan and Big Cass happened. And I was like, do I need to look at this? Short story, no. But
I mean, listen. I mean, a lot of people want to lie about it, or they don't want to talk about it. But like, people were very upset that Bryan and Cass had a program, and I think this also speaks to what Bryan does on the roster now, right? Where he works with guys that a lot of people don't think that there's nothing you can do with them, and he makes something happen with them. And I thought that match they had, I forget which pay-per-view it was.
Backlash. It was
Backlash. Wow, how ironic!
I brought it up.
How ironic! That he had, the match that he had with Big Cass was dope. And then, I mean, you want to go even deeper. Bray Wyatt, who was having no good matches before the Royal Rumble. And I mean, Bryan gave him not only his hottest segment that he was in. People forget that Bray was in the cage when he did the Yes thing. When that Yes thing was really born, when he turned on the Wyatt family, people forget Bray was right there, and I think that Bryan deserves his He deserves his flowers for that, especially in this generation. I'd say in the last generation.
I'm really trying to think of it.
It's tough when you think about like pre 2014.
I think, I think there was a whole generation of SmackDown stars that Edge kind of brought up to another level. Not that I'm like a homer for Edge, but I do think that Edge is like responsible. Edge kind of like with Batista. I even think Undertaker, as good as the Undertaker worker is, like he didn't like some of his best stuff is with Edge, which is crazy to think of. And even John Cena, right? Like John Cena, he had the stigma of like, 5 moves of doom having these things matches. And then Edge kind of like, he has this series with Edge and he's kind of like taken to a new level because he has an actual contemporary rival. I think Edge.
Would you give Aleister Black his flowers for that Lars Sullivan match? It missed the kick. Okay, he missed the kick, but I mean, everything that doesn't ruin the match, though. To me, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd give him like flowers for that. I don't know. I'd have to see it on a more consistent basis. It might have been a thing where everything was clicking that night. You know what I'm saying? I just, except for that kick, apparently, but.
Come on, man! The kick is very like he made Lars look like a beast, like more so than even Cassius Ohno. But I mean, Cassius Ohno, his flowers for NXT. He made everybody coming in look good.
Yeah, no, you're right. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I would say so. I'm trying to think of now on the women's side besides Bayley. Who would I give that to?
Asuka, Nia Jax.
Asuka's a whole generation of pulling out at least 3 stars out of these women through her entire run.
Peyton Royce even.
Yeah, Peyton Royce got a decent match out of with Asuka. Even that. What else? I'm trying to think of like from the like a previous era. Like I know Beth had to do a lot of heavy lifting. But
we already give. You're not gonna give her flowers for that. You agree?
No, because it's like. Hers was like, damn, like shit. Look what I'm with. Let's try to make the best out of, chicken salad. They'll feed you that chicken salad out of chicken shit line, won't they? In the eat, they'll 100%. Feed you that line until you do what's told.
Until the cows come home. Shit.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm trying to think. You know what I'm thinking? Flowers. Do I want to say
flowers?
I'm trying to think. Kurt Angle? Maybe
he was always slotted with like top guys though. Always.
Yeah, that's true.
Always. He was always slotted with top guys. I'd say to a certain extent, if we want to go back even further, Chris Jericho was somebody who was given like we got to give him his flowers for a lot of the stuff he pulled out even today. And you got to give Kenny Omega his flowers also for carrying, on the other end with Jericho. Give Kenny Omega his flowers also. A lot of flowers being given today. I think this is just what it was. This is the flower day. This is flower day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Flowers.
Unfortunately, we have to also give flowers on the other end of the spectrum. This past week saw just some really crushing losses from it's unexplainable. It's hard for me to even like frame it in the right the right way. And I don't want to like misspeak or say anything wrong, but we lost 2 very, very great people, 2 great wrestlers. Shad Gaspard did pass away last week. His body was found. I want to say literally after we did the show. The outpouring of love has been just so great to see this man, as we say, get his flowers from everyone, from Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if you saw that today. Triple H, The Undertaker, even him and Michelle McCool even said something about it. Vince McMahon, Triple H, The Rock has said something about him. I think I mentioned this last week. If I didn't, he was in Birds of Prey earlier this year. He was one of the main bad guys. Well, not main bad guys, but like one of the henchmen. And you actually see him for quite some time. You actually see him up close and everything. A lot of them were wearing masks and he wasn't. But the director of that movie, which was a hit movie. She came out and had some words for him. Just a great guy. I don't know if anyone has the GoFundMe reached its limit. I think the donation.
Oh yeah, the CTC one. CTC RIP CTC. Whoever donated $40,000. Still not confirmed.
Yeah,
but we have an idea generally of who it might be, considering it is the CTC. But yeah, man, no, it's crazy. It makes me think of and also, much thoughts and prayers and the condolences out to JTG as well as tag team partner.
Yeah, his videos and posts have been really eye opening as to just how funny and jovial Shad was all the time, and those two were best friends, and it's heartbreaking, to lose a friend.
It's heartbreaking, but it's also, and I want you to wait for me to finish when I say this. It's also kind of reassuring in a way that you can have a profound effect on people's society from just being a great person and just being in the air with other great people. I think a lot of people think about their legacy and what they're going to leave behind as what may be the most prominent thing to be recognized for when they die. But for him to be recognized as just a great father, a great person, a great human being, and that to kind of be a standout attribute. He never won the World Tag Team Championships in the WWE. He never, you could say his run probably lasted maybe like 2006, 2011. Like it wasn't a sizable run, but the fact that his impact for just being a great person, a great father, and just being, a great human being, a credit to the human race, it extends a long way. So it's kind of like reassuring to me in that, being a great person, putting out there what you want to get back in is really an amazing way to kind of live your life, So
yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like you want your reputation on this earth to live on past your expiration. And I think with Shad, that definitely happened. And I remember seeing somebody saying like, oh, they should have got the tag titles. And I was just like, what's going on right now is bigger than any title on a fake TV show that you could ever have. It's not about that. It's about what the mark you've left as a human being. Like Roman Reigns even said it too. Like he gave him his flowers. He said, when I came into developmental, Shad wasn't happy, but he still made sure I looked good. And for him to remember that and remember that Shad wasn't happy, but he still put on the face and did his job, that says a lot about the guy. And, rest in peace to him. Condolences to his wife, his son, and his family and friends. Shad Gaspard, you're an A-show legend. We gotta have an A-show Hall of Fame, and I think he's going to be. He's first ballot. He's first ballot in there for me.
For sure.
We're gonna get that money. Yeah. Another loss that we had over the weekend. Now this is to me the most shocking. If there is anything to be shocked about, huge loss.
Yeah, this one didn't sit right.
Yeah,
legitimately from the time I heard of it to the following day.
I was playing 2K with Mark and Cyrus when Cyrus told us and we completely were out of the game. I don't know if they noticed, but I didn't even want to play anymore. But Hana Kimura, she was a Joshi wrestler she wrestled for Stardom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And actually, even more ironic, I didn't even realize this, is that me and Cyrus had reviewed her mother's final show, her retirement show for Spot Callers a couple months ago. And that is what put me on to her. She passed away due to, what could only be called as just a terrible bout of cyberbullying over a show that she was on called Terrace House. It's a pretty big show. I think they air some of it on Netflix, but she's one of the new cast members. Not too sure of the details of what happened on the show, but apparently it continued offline. And what happened was that she got into it with one of the other cast members. And what it seems like to me when I read it was frivolous reality show stuff. Right. And from there, the fans of the show who disliked her after that they left so much bad energy towards her on social media. which led to her, earlier that day, I believe it was Friday or Saturday over there, posting some really graphic pictures. And from there, we got the announcement from Stardom's official account later on that night that she had passed away. It was really, really rough. And all of Twitter reacted to that, I'll say.
First, I want to say shout out to Cyrus, because Cyrus also put me on her. I think just from the thing is like, you just look at pictures of her and like, oh wow, she's lit. Like she's a star. She's like young, but clearly has that energy that we're all kind of like searching for, that people can gravitate to in professional wrestling, especially nowadays when you see a lot of these young stars and they're trying to figure out what to do. But she kind of had a look, and that's kind of like, it's one of the hardest things to be able to capture as a professional wrestler, is getting that look. You can be down in the ring, you can have all the all the moves, all the other things, but to manage to have that look and that transcend off the camera is a much more difficult thing sometimes than it is the actual wrestling part. Another major part is that she was 22, man. 22. I remember when I was 22 was I look back at 22 as probably one of my most formidable years. Yeah. Just because I learned, people are going to laugh, I learned to drive at 22.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine. I didn't get my first car till 23. So,
all right. Well, you still got me beat. But I live in New York, so it is what it is. But I learned to drive at 22. I graduated from college at 22. I've, did all these things, kind of saw a new outlook on life, kind of got my first real job at 22, all these other things. And it's like, I'm here now, 30 years old, and you look at what she could have done. I mean, only 22. I look at where I am at 30 and see kind of the world of difference. And she didn't even get that, which is kind of what's heartbreaking about it, because she has so much more better years in front of her. She wasn't even where at 22, you're so young and you're not even completely sure where you want to be, but you're heading in that direction. Mm-hmm. But she didn't even get that. And it's all because of just, cyberbullying crazy. And I think you talked about the Shad Gaspard thing and kind of bringing it all together. What you put out there and the energy that you want to receive back, and kind of going down and being known as a great person and being able to live with yourself. I don't know how any of these people who cyberbullied her and then it's an announcement from Stardom can feel any good about themselves for what they did. You should be disgusted for what you did, actually, because what you did was take someone who you don't even know what she's going through, but assuming that, all these things about her and tearing her down. And just this whole situation, it's sad. It's really, really sad. It stuck with me for maybe most of the day when it happened afterwards.
Yeah, and the owners behind Stardom have been talking about taking some action against some of the accounts. I'm pretty sure they'll find. It's pretty easy to find.
Even Alexa Bliss had a thing. Was it yesterday or today?
It was yesterday. Yeah.
She had a thing
with JD from NY, and I don't want to shit up this whole our whole Hana segment by talking about that dweeb, but these are nameless, faceless people online.
Yeah,
and
take action by all means. I think it's honestly, people should start. Twitter does this thing where it's trying to crack down all these hateful comments and stuff. But I mean, sometimes it's time for the talent themselves or the companies that represent them take it in their hands. Kind of like when WWE noticed when a lot of fans were jumping in the ring. It was like, listen, you jump in the ring, you're going to jail. That's it. And it should be a kind of thing that we take these measures with on social media. This is going to, I don't want, it sucks that she's had to go on in this type of way, and her legacy, I think it'll still be strong, but it's just still kind of, the career is maybe still incomplete. But
she was the star. She was being groomed to be that Charlotte Flair, John Cena, Tanahashi, Okada-esque, champion there. And she was on the way to being a legend. And, we mentioned her mother, her mother was a legend as well. And, I said this before, parents aren't supposed to bury their children. And I just remember during the last Afro, she gave her last match to her daughter. as a changing of the guard, and that meant a lot. And it's just that image has just stuck with me this whole time. Was that last match, and it was a lot. It's a lot to take in, and condolences, of course, to all of her family, friends, and her fans. Her fans really lost out the most here, and I
agree.
It's terrible. But R.I.P. Hana Kimura, R.I.P. Shad Gaspard. Hopefully, we don't have another week like that anytime soon. In the world of wrestling. Moving on, Drew Gulak. The king is back. Okay.
We really went 10 minutes on Gulak last week. I'm still like a man. I was like, yo, we might be going longer. We might have gone longer than Taker. Like, we went 10 minutes on like, where's Gulak going? The pay-per-views this weekend. If he shows up, T-shirt ideas, all this other stuff. But you know what? The Gulak is back.
You feel me? The king is back. Welcome back, King. Y'all talking about, man, it sucks that he went back. Hey, the bag talked. The bag opened up and talked to him. It said, stay. Say, what you doing? You don't want to be on Dark? Yeah. You want to be on Dark? You can't go to Japan right now. Where are you going to go? Like, I think I said it last week. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go?
This is true. There was some reports that he's going to appear on this week's episode of SmackDown. Potentially. I think I saw that on maybe Fightful or wherever, maybe somewhere else. I'm forgetting.
I think it was PWI.
Source. Oh, yeah, PWI. That he may show up this week. So, Gulak back. We're happy to have you here. You're a great wrestler. You're a great credit to the professional wrestling world. And yes, the bag talked. And it said, sit your ass down.
You ain't going nowhere. I think whoever put it together, I don't want to make any speculation, but I'm pretty sure Daniel Bryan was like, hey, don't do that.
No. Sign him. Anything. Give him what he wants.
Don't do that. Within the pandemic, too, they said, we're just going to open up the bag just a little bit. Just a little bit of a bag. I mean, I think really all he probably wanted was to not make a 205 live salary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, a living wage.
Them dudes
I don't know what 205 live is getting
probably as much as these Twitter, as much as they make.
Damn.
Probably.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Hey, how did you feel about it? We didn't talk about this, but how did you feel about the Leo Rush, Mark Henry thing?
We didn't talk about that. What a back and forth. I don't believe it. I think Leo Rush wants promotion for whatever the hell he's doing. Mm-hmm. And I think Mark Henry wants to be heard and recognized. I feel like
Mark will do anything.
My man is doing, because he's on Vlad TV right now. He's talking to informants. Like, obviously, he just wants to be heard right now. That's why I wasn't really tied up in it. I mean, I think the whole, like, you've got my number, you can call me type of deal. And, the move that is always just, to me, something to just show off. Is like, I'm tough. Like, yo, you can call me. You can talk to me anytime you want. I'm sure they could have talked. But honestly, I know neither of them wanted to talk because Leo didn't call Mark. Leo went on Twitter and said, you could have called me. Like, I know Mark didn't want to talk to Leo directly. I mean, maybe he tried. I don't know. But Mark went on his show and said, you could have talked to me, or I tried talking to him, or blah, 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 blah. And I think what he's doing is this. So clearly, neither of you guys want to talk to each other. You want to talk to the public through each other. So
not only that, like, Mark was in Orlando all the time. Like,
yeah,
Mark was in Orlando when I went to NXT that one time. Like, I just feel like this is just all cap. I feel like Leo not even a wrestler anymore, so I don't even know why he's even like fielding these types of like. I get it. I know why, but it's like just do your music.
You know why?
Yeah, just do your music, bro. Just do your music, my dude. Like, it was stupid. But anyway, back to Gulak. He's back on SmackDown.
Great. Back to Google. Let's go. Let's talk about the Undertaker. Let's talk about Last Ride. Let's talk about the last.
Very good episode, man. They've been knocking out the park with these.
I say, what a trip, right? Undertaker is the worst. Undertaker's the worst retired rapper that I've ever seen in my life. He's always on the brink of retirement, but he always got that one record I was like, I'm back, baby.
Also, you notice that he's wearing in the moment is his interview segments. He's wearing a different shirt. So this is definitely they extended it. Yeah, it's newer now than when he was wearing the Blue Lives Matter shirt. I think he's still wearing some type of propaganda shirt on this, but this episode was about the 4 matches, the 4 street matches in a row that he had before the Punk match.
My favorite part was the final part, but go ahead.
The 2 matches with Shawn, 25-26, and the Triple H matches, 27-28. I'm not gonna lie that I love the behind the scenes stuff. I didn't even think they would have had behind the scenes stuff of like right after the Michaels match and right after the Triple H match. That was some good behind the scenes stuff that I've always wanted to see here.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had something to say there. I thought that again the Michaels match. I may be more partial to the second one because Shawn Michaels is probably one of my favorites, and that was his last match at that time. But I really enjoyed.
He's jealous of Shawn Michaels for being able to step away.
How tough that must have been.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, and here's why. I'm trying to think. You know what? I'll ask you this question all after the fact, because I really kind of introed it a little bit. But the fact that he's so caught up, he's still in it. Like his brain, you can retire. You know that, right? Like you don't have to. I think in my brain, he's so caught up in the fact of like I want to leave on such a great note, but he doesn't realize that he has 30 years of a really great note. And every single match that happened afterward continues to be like you're hitting a wrong key somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like it's like playing a song on Guitar Hero, and then like halfway through it, you start fucking up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, oh, I had a great match with Cena. He's talking about could have went 40 minutes, brother. Could have went 40 minutes.
And that's where the episode picks up after. It was just him saying I wanted to go 40, and Stephanie was like, you did great. He's like, no, I didn't. And I was just like, what?
Fuck
you know what's crazy?
Because like Stephanie had a 40-minute match.
Undertaker reminds me of. Let's be real. He reminds me of people that are on wrestling message boards that are looking for that perfect match. He literally is one of those people. I wouldn't be surprised if he had an account. He's looking
I would be surprised. I would be ill surprised.
He really takes star ratings into account. Like he does listen to Meltzer. He does read all that stuff. Like he does read everything that we say. He reads and he looks at. It's like we're seeing a guy that he really has an inferiority complex, and I don't think it's so much of him being a perfectionist. It's him having an inferiority complex. A perfectionist would not act as though like, okay, I'm actually a perfectionist. Wouldn't even say like, okay, I'm gonna leave. They're just gonna keep going. Mm-hmm. He's threatening to leave every single time. Where he's like, oh, I should be out there. He feels inferior because he feels like I don't think he feels like the young guys are gonna take his spot, but he feels like he wants to be out there with the young guys because he doesn't want to be looked at like he doesn't want a young guy to be like, oh, this guy was better than the Undertaker was any day.
I feel like he still doesn't feel completely fulfilled in any of his matches. Like even though the Cena match was the best he's ever looked, and I didn't even realize that at the time. Like you look at the show and you realize where he was in the Roman match and how physically different he looked in the Cena match. I didn't realize it, but damn, he looks good.
Yeah.
But he's still chasing that match, and you get to the Triple H match at one of the Saudi pay-per-views.
It was Australia.
Super Showdown in Australia, 100%. And you get there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna." But it's just one part of a program. Like he has that match, but it's not even a thought in his brain because he knows he's still working with Shawn and Kane, the following one, and he thinks he's going to be in cruise control.
And I remember we shit on that. We shit on that because we were like, don't tell me they're about to start a program, and they absolutely fucking started a program.
And Shawn came out of retirement. Shawn's bald. Kane is also kind of overweight. Everyone's old in this match. Everyone's there, a various level of old in this match. We shit on it, but it kind of reminds you also, if it kind of opens your eyes of like, if we're shitting on this match, the wrestlers got to be shitting on this match 2 times more.
Yeah.
Like except if you're maybe Edge in this situation where he thinks like, shut up, this match is great.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Edge. We're gonna talk about Edge today.
We're gonna talk about it, of course, but he's having this moment, and then he's like, even Michelle knows this, like, it's this vicious cycle. He keeps having these matches, then he has a bad one, then he feels like he needs to redeem himself, and it's this vicious cycle. I'm scared to think where we get to the next episode when he has a Goldberg match because
I mean, even before that, I do love knowing why that match ended up the way that it did. It's like we guessed that it was because the guys were rusty, but I think the Triple H tearing his muscle really
pectoral,
did. Yeah, his pectoral definitely did factor into that in a lot of ways.
I'm assuming he was the ring general for that match. I'm assuming he was the one kind of like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. And not to say that he couldn't do that from the outside, but I think it's really hindered. Now, when you take all that into account, and Undertaker was like, oh, I was having some problems with Michelle as well, and ABCD, Kane is just, Kane's mask fell off. I mean, I don't ever remember that. I didn't remember that. I don't think we watched it.
Oh, yeah, we didn't. We didn't watch it.
Yeah, I don't think we watched it. But I remember seeing all the GIFs online, and I was like, his whole mask fell off, bro. Like, and they're laughing about it now because it's just like, what else can you do at that situation? And Kane has to put his mask on and get back to work. But it's like, it was a terrible match, and all four of them knew it. And it's just
when it hit the next time on and it was the Goldberg match, I openly said, "Oh boy!"
I shrieked.
I said, "Here we go with this one." Also, we get a very long layover until the next episode. I wonder if these are done yet in their entirety. Unlike The Last Dance, we're not going to get the next episode until the 14th. So. 3 weeks from now.
I mean, I'm assuming one of the final parts end up being about the AJ Styles match. So I'm thinking maybe they're just buying time until that, but I'm pretty sure next part debuts the same day as the Backlash pay-per-view. So
good on Backlash is
June 14th.
Oh yeah, it's the same day. Dang, we got a long time till Backlash. Wow. Let's talk about SmackDown then, since we're already on the subject. Let's talk about AJ Styles, ironically, who is now on SmackDown. Do you think this has to do any with what they're planning on doing with Taker? Like, I think there's a lot of reasons why he's there, but they were I feel as though they weren't done with that program, right?
No, I think, you know what? I even have a hint. I mean, I think one could assume that maybe it's not with the program. I think they're going to scrap whatever is next to the program.
Okay.
Just say like, yo, because SmackDown needed AJ Styles. Like they were trying to do this whole, this rule thing of superstars coming to SmackDown 4 times a thing. But then you kind of realize like, to be honest with you, SmackDown needed AJ Styles. It needed somebody. Mm-hmm. And AJ Styles doesn't have the club, so he doesn't have that attachment to Raw anymore. It's not like you're moving all 3 guys anymore. But SmackDown needed somebody, and SmackDown has always been an AJ Styles show. It's just worked out the best for him in his career. He's won, the World Championship multiple times on SmackDown. He's been out there, whether it's in the mid card, whether it's in the main event, whether it's all of them. He's just an all-star player. So SmackDown needed him. Now the rules on how he ends up on SmackDown, to me,
a trade,
whatever, a trade for no one. Nowhere in his. Don't get me wrong. You get the Woj report. Kyrie Irving has been traded to the Boston Celtics. You're like, what? But you'll never not get who he was traded for. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They don't know yet.
You'll never not get, Isaiah Thomas and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah have been traded for Kyrie Irving. You will never get that because that's how trades work. Trades aren't, he's being traded to SmackDown for what? For some picks later on down the road.
Don't worry about it. No, they don't even say, don't worry about it. They said, Michael Cole, just say this. We'll figure it out later. I think the prevailing theme of this week's shows are they're about to do another restart, another hard restart on what they're doing as far as the way they present their shows. And this has been our third restart since this Corona era started.
Yeah, I mean, But granted, I think it needs it. I think everything needs a little bit of a fresh air. And we're going to talk about Raw and how they kind of like freshened up the show a little bit. But everything needed fresh air. SmackDown was stagnant. SmackDown doesn't have Roman. SmackDown has Bayley beating everybody. SmackDown has 20-minute Baron Corbin versus Elias matches. SmackDown didn't have a damn thing to be proud about. So people were legitimately not tuning into SmackDown. Rob, last week, did you watch SmackDown? Not really, but I kind of watch it on YouTube, so I kind of know what happened. SmackDown isn't must-see television by any means, and it still isn't as of right now. But it's something. It's something headed in the right direction, and I'll at least give them that of the decision to say, let's put AJ Styles on SmackDown because the show really needs a main eventer.
And for the first match, I love that they. Let's be clear here. AJ is definitely going back to babyface. If not,
if he's not already now, he definitely is.
Yes, he's babyface again. He had a match with Nakamura, went about 14 minutes. I've seen mixed feelings about it. I thought it was. I think the in ring of this SmackDown was higher than probably any SmackDown in a really long time. And I think there was something missing with the AJ Nakamura. Obviously, fans they kind of hurt it a little bit for me. But I thought they went off. I thought they really did go off.
No, I thought they went off too. I think Nakamura's entire energy is built on incorporating the people into his matches, incorporating the people into his persona. So to not have those people is kind of a little bit different. But I think, considering everything that's happened on Raw and will happen moving forward, I think it's going to change a little bit. But I thought the Styles Nakamura match was solid and they did the right thing. AJ going over is great. We're building up to, honestly, anything that you put on the other side of that is going to be fantastic. So you'll see.
Charlotte versus Bayley, champion versus champion. I think
banger.
She gave us two of them things.
Yeah, she's working. I mean, Charlotte, like the flowers, maybe. No,
we don't need to give her flowers.
Maybe.
We don't need to give her flowers. We don't need to give her flowers. Let's just be clear. I think she got the NXT title, and that's like the soul edge from the video game, and it's like that makes you have better matches. Like when you have the NXT title, it makes you have better matches automatically. I just think that's just what happens.
Cooking. No, she's cooking. Even in a loss, which I was surprised that she
A rare loss. Yeah. None of them NXT hoes about to be her, but that's what she said. That's not what I'm saying. That's what she said.
Okay. That's what she said?
She said it. I don't know.
Nonetheless, she was cooking in this match. Her and Bayley was just having a great time. They obviously have the best chemistry. I think, would you say they have the best chemistry of the four horsewomen?
No. Charlotte Sasha is always the go-to.
Ooh, okay. We haven't
you ain't seen it in a while. Yeah, you ain't seen it in a while. So when you see it,
seen it in a while.
Turn it up. When you see it, act like you know me. When you see it.
Yeah, of course. Listen, we haven't seen it in a while. So I see it. I see it.
What else happened? It was a lot of Intercontinental Championship stuff. Not too much.
What happened is we're getting a handicap Universal title match for Backlash.
Yeah,
I'm not happy about that.
Are we holding off on Miz or not Miz? Are we holding off on Fiend already? I'm confused as to what's going on here.
Yes, we are, because Fiend is a long-term thing, apparently. I'm saying, if they wanted to do this at SummerSlam, it would have been all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, wait until SummerSlam. Like, don't get me wrong, the match was a banger. The match would have been great on SummerSlam as well. But the match was a banger. Why not wait until the actual... So, nonetheless, we're getting Miz and Morrison versus Braun Strowman at Backlash. I'm not happy about it because it seems like the obvious schmaz of the set. It seems like an episode of SmackDown is now on Backlash. Like, I don't believe in this at all. I mean, let's give them a few weeks. Maybe they can make me believe. But, I mean, I'm not happy with it. And as much as I love The Miz, it's like in this sort of scenario, him getting his first championship shot in God knows how long. And it's clearly going to be like a showcase for Braun.
Before Bray comes out. Yeah. Why does Miz keep getting hoed out for Bray to show up, for Fiend to show up?
Miz is just a great hand, you know. He's just
all right.
A response
Okay.
from people when he's on the card. You know he's there.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Intercontinental titles tournament continues this week. We have Daniel Bryan versus Jeff Hardy. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was gonna say, did you like Jeff versus Sheamus, or are you like, man?
It was at like the end of the show, and I was like ready to go eat or do something. I thought
like I'm out.
It wasn't mad. I thought it was weird to have Sheamus like lose already, but whatever. It's Sheamus. He's gonna always be a great hand for the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just put him and Cesaro back together. I just don't see why they just don't do that already.
I don't know if there's any situation that I want to see Sheamus in that I'm like, yes, that is it. That is the one that we need. I don't know. I say like, oh, we need him back on the show. We need a hand. And then he comes back and I'm like, this is too much. Like we're doing it. It's just the way they kind of like incorporate Sheamus, or maybe he just isn't. Yeah, it's just the way you incorporate him. I'm tired of bully thing. Like obviously you're a bully, but like it's the same gimmick from 10 years ago. Let's change it up a little bit. Let's evolve as human beings, as we tend to do. So, but yeah, you're right.
I thought it was a solid SmackDown, a lot more wrestling focus, which is what they should do. And I think now that you have AJ and Bryan on the same show and Gulak on the same show, it will hopefully be the wrestling-centered show, whereas Raw has been kind of doing a lot more of the story-based stuff, which we'll talk about now on Monday Night Raw. Really chaotic show, right? A lot more chaotic.
A lot of things happen, yeah.
We finally got the announcement earlier from a lot of outlets, and it was confirmed when we saw the show, obviously, that WWE now does a similar thing to what AEW has been doing, having some of the talent actually ringside. But what they've done is they put up a glass like hockey penalty box thing around it. I think I see it at my grocery stores too. They do it there.
It's it's just what is it? I wouldn't say bulletproof glass because it's not like the chicken spot or anything. It's
someone's gonna get thrown through it though. I see it happen.
Oh yeah. It is. I forgot what type of glass it is. It's some Pyrex. I don't know. No, not that.
Plexiglass?
Plexiglass. There you go. It is plexiglass, 100%. Much better than. I mean, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna steal AEW's idea, at least let's just do it better. Right? Like everyone's perfectly social distance apart.
Yep.
Like
they took it and they took the idea and like put like $1,000 more production on it than they needed to.
Yeah, everyone's not like swigging Jack in the audience and playing dice.
You know what's so crazy about that is that they did so much that like no one could even say they're stealing it because they just added so much stuff to it. It's just like no, we're gonna copy the homework but put more color on it.
I'm gonna say they're stealing it, and I'm gonna be like, because AEW did do it first, and I'm like, I wasn't when I saw it first on AEW, I was like, I like this because the audience is a little incorporated. You get the boos, the cheers. It's kind of like this lax energy. And WWE did it. You know, it's still the same thing. I think you get the feeling though, instead of like them actually being fans, like obviously they're being like it's a paid audience. So
it's PC. It's all for the PC. Like
they're being you get in your mind, you're like, they told them to come for training and then stay in the audience, didn't they? Or like you're looking in your mind and just being like, God, I wish they had chairs. Or something. I feel bad for them, but you know, I don't think this is something you expect to be doing as a WWE superstar at any point in your career, but also
this is an unexpected time.
Yeah, so get your ass out there. You got the bus. We got the hand wipes. Get your ass out there.
And it add to the show, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that it sounded like a Maury Povich show at some point where you keep people say, tell them. I was like, tell them what? Tell them what? Do you think they're going to do this for NXT? I think they should. I think they absolutely should.
They should, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of people on who aren't being even used. WWE Performance Center has so many people. Like, I know they fired a whole bunch, but they have so many people that are just not being used. Why not go out there? You're able to look at some matches. You're able to stand around, do something.
And potentially get over.
Yeah, 100%. You get out there, you're on Raw, you're breaking up fights, you're getting thrown through barricades, whatever, man. You're there. Yeah.
Oh, it was cool. Andrade versus Apollo Crews. Apollo finally wins the big one in a really good match with Andrade. They can't do anything but have bangers, and Andrade is probably one of the best workhorses in the company. Apollo Crews wins his first WWE championship, not WWE championship, WWE title, not even WWE title. First championship in WWE. How about that?
There we go.
Yeah, that's the way to say it. How'd you feel about it?
It's a so I like the match. I like everything about it. I saw it coming from a mile away. He's the good person to be the next one. I'm just interested. I mean, I've always been interested in Apollo Crews. Is this a championship to say we're picking you, or is this the championship to say like, and here you go?
This is the championship to say. It's a championship to say we're pushing you. Let's see some character. Let's see some character. And I think it's actually in his advantage that now things are more wrestling focused and less talk focused. That he could potentially bring back the open challenge. And from what I saw today on WWE Social, he will be picking an opponent next week to do a challenge. So it seems to me that they're gonna go that route. I think it's gonna be Andrade, but it could be someone from NXT. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be anybody. I mean, they're there, so yeah.
It could be Matt Riddle.
Interesting.
There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors going around that Matt's main roster bound. He has a huge cage match against Timothy Thatcher on Wednesday. That I think if he loses, I think that's pretty much the right.
Yeah, I would say so. It's time.
Every NXT feud ends in a cage match anyway.
Do you think? All right, sidebar. Matt Riddle talk.
Yeah.
Do you think he will work on the main roster? His entire career, I think NXT is such a great and maybe a perfect place for him that I'm not sure. Matt Riddle's a wrestler. He loves to wrestle. All the other character stuff is kind of secondary in a sense. I think if he's on Monday Night Raw, it's a great look. I think if he's on Friday Night SmackDown, good luck. But I'm wondering if this is a perfect marriage for Matt Riddle. If Matt Riddle moves to the main roster, do we expect the same kind of Matt Riddle that we get on NXT?
I don't think that Matt was ever right in NXT. I think he should. I think he was down. I think he was down there for way too long. He reminds me of like Aleister Black. He was a character that was larger than life on that show. And this isn't to put down Cole or anyone because they're essential, so to speak. They're crucial to that show. They had already been set up that way. Matt was always a big time player to me. Whereas like you didn't need people to get introduced to him for you to know he was a big deal. I think as far as character stuff, I've enjoyed the character stuff they did in his final couple months, potentially on NXT with Dunn. I thought that was done really well. I like the bro show that he did a couple weeks ago with Thatcher. I think he can work. I think promos will be a challenge for him. If they let him do him and be himself, it seems as though everyone in the back is a big fan of the guy. He wasn't completely written off after the Goldberg shit or even the Brock shit. He's even said it himself that Vince is a big fan of his. I think that there's much to do about nothing about him. I would be worried if it was Velveteen Dream more than Riddle right now. I'd be worried if it was. I think I'd worry more about Undisputed Era than Matt Riddle right now. I'm telling you. I think he has it if you let him follow. And I say this all the time, New Age RVD. The guy who can go in the ring, not strong on promos, but he's always going to have a top spot in the card because the fans are going to love him. And as soon as they see him, they're going to love him. I think he's going to be good. I would rather have Heyman book him, obviously. But I think that if he does start on SmackDown, it's a good place to start. He has a lot of guys he can go against. He's got AJ, he's got Bryan, he's got Cesaro. There's a lot of opportunity for him.
Yeah.
But even with the Baron stuff, they've got history. You know, they Rumble, Survivor Series, they've got history. So it makes sense for the first guy from the face in squash to be Baron Corbin, right?
Yeah. No, you're right.
So I mean, if that's where they go with it, I'm personally not too worried. I'm more worried about who else they're calling up because if it needs to be more than Riddle. I think these shows need a infusion now. Becky is gone. Sammy is gone for God knows how long. 2020 and Roman Reigns aren't going together right now. We're not going to see them for a while. So they need an infusion of talent. And I think that we're going to grade Matt based on whoever he comes up with. And that's why I think we'll grade him.
Okay. All right.
That's my pie in the sky prediction. Back to Raw.
Sure.
We got a triple threat women's match to figure out who faces Asuka. Speaking of Shayna Baszler, she's not in this match. It was Natalya, Nia Jax, Charlotte. Before we get to Shayna, or before we get to the match, I got a really weird prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Shayna's going to SmackDown.
Ooh, why? Ugh.
We haven't even seen her to beat Bayley.
I think, you know what? I think Shayna was left out of this match because they didn't want her to get beat. It's kind of a similar thing. They kind of do this thing where if there's obvious program, if there's an obvious thing, they kind of cool women off. They don't show them as much. I think they definitely did it to Sasha Banks in a history where she wasn't, as they were preparing, I think it was WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. Like, she showed up the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, and she wasn't featured a lot on the show prior to then, just because they didn't want her in the mix. They didn't want her losing matches. They wanted to keep her kind of safe. I think we're getting to, if you want to ask me where we're getting to, is Shayna versus Asuka at SummerSlam. I think we're getting to that eventually, but you don't want to really muddy the water with encounters and like, could she do it? Could she not do it? If they don't want the conversation to maybe twist in any direction. They don't want to put her in the ring with Charlotte quite yet. I mean, honestly, Charlotte didn't even need to be in the match, but it's always nice to have Charlotte in the match because once again, you have to sell people to watch Monday Night Raw, right? Mm-hmm. So you have Charlotte in the match. I mean, the end result was always going to be Nia Jax. Let's not waste a Shayna Baszler loss to Sparrow. Let's give it to two people who possibly, honestly, if they lose, it's not a big deal because they're still going to be who they are despite it all. I thought it was a great match. I thought like another one for Charlotte and like, damn, bang it out. Natalya doing the damn thing. Natalya trying to piece this thing together while in the ring. I saw it.
I thought Natalya deserves a lot of love too. I thought that you put up a tweet today that they went a little viral about her.
Yeah. They do the dumbest things with her. You know what I'm saying? It's like they throw anything at her and she's just expected to do it. Remember when she was farting? Remember that gimmick?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Like flatulence for whatever reason. They throw the most random things at her. I say this because, and you said I was green. I was like, there's no greener than WWE and Natalya because this has never happened in the history of Monday Night Raw where there's like, sorry, Natty, we're out of time. Since when? Since when? Like, I've seen The Rock cut 10-minute promos standing there. Like, since when are we out of time? So, you know, they do interesting things with Natty. This is all building up. Well, we got Nia Jax as the new number one contender and will face Asuka at Backlash next week. Monday Night Raw. Charlotte is at it again because Charlotte will be facing Asuka, champion versus champion. I've heard it. You heard the make it make sense. Now we have to make it right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tatiana.
Make it right, aka D Plus.
No.
Nia Jax enters the match in DQ loss.
That's what I'm expecting to happen. Honestly, I'm just expecting it to happen. You know, I've no faith in that.
Very shocked that they're blowing their load here with that match. That, you know, we don't get it often. Maybe like twice a year. They face each other like 6 times at this point. Around that.
Yeah. Various times, various interactions, tag team matches, regular matches, one-on-one matches. The one-on-one matches are always the highlight, but the various ones are also cool too. They just have great chemistry. They love being in the ring with one another. I love it.
It'll slap. What else happened on Raw? We have a continuation of the Alistair, Seth Rollins team stuff going on here. I gotta be honest.
You said you didn't like Alistair in tag matches.
Yeah, he loses a little bit of his mystique and his luster helping others out. I think I blame he never really like. I do too, and
black hole of
they protect the absolute hell out of Alistair. So I get why they have to have him in these matches to even just put him on. But he can't have squashes anymore. He just can't. You know, that's over with. That he's got to get in the mix. Like you said, they got to shit or get off the pot with him. But again, this is more of the the long-term booking on Raw, where it's going to be a while before we get to the Alistair Seth match, and I think we're going to have to go through Rey Mysterio to get it. I think we might get that at SummerSlam. I think that is now, to me, the most sensible option to have Seth versus Alistair Black. Would you say?
So there's been talk about Edge
for SummerSlam.
I don't know. No, I don't know if it's been rumors, but everything that's happening right now on Monday makes sense with an Edge program, considering what Seth Rollins is doing to people, considering how Rey Mysterio is one of Edge's close friends. This is all speculation, so it's not like there's any PWI rumor or Fightful report or anything like that. So to me, especially, and they're doing the Randy and Edge thing, I think it's a possibility that we could get Seth versus Edge at SummerSlam, because it's a major match. They're building Seth Rollins to kind of be this monster and kind of wreaking havoc, and Edge still has a major point and major, I guess, retribution to extract on Seth Rollins. I think the fact that Rey Mysterio is part of it is not because he's the end result. It's because he is merely a prop in this feud to open up the whole Edge thing.
So, I mean, if that's not it, then Alistair's going after Drew or Bobby or someone else.
I could see Bobby.
He's not out of the. Again, he's not out of.
No, he's not out of it. He's not out of it. There's still, first of all, there's another pay-per-view between Backlash and then SummerSlam, so he's not completely out of the mix. But I do think that it is leading up to Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black at a certain date, and that'll be that. I love Aleister Black. I want the best for him. Let's put him on a. Do you want him to go in the World Championship picture? As of right now, do you feel like it's time?
I don't think they do that without a crowd, but I said that about Drew. So,
yeah, you're right.
I think a lot of him is really is tapping into a action from crowd. I do think that it's fine that he's not there yet, and they don't want to give him a secondary one. He's he's the strongest booked guy on the show. I think that goes without question. Him and Drew are like the two top baby faces to me on the show, so we'll see. Speaking of Edge, greatest match ever. Have you seen these commercials, the songs, all of that stuff?
The song is overkill. The song is too much, and the graphics and the skyscrapery graphics of like the greatest match ever. It takes everything that Edge is doing in front of the camera is immediately taking away once you see that graphic and the music and everything like that. Like, it makes it much more of a hokey thing than actual, like, oh, this is retribution. This is Edge having to prove himself. Now you're just saying, greatest match ever. I'm just like, bro, stop, please. There's no way Edge signed off on this.
I think he absolutely signed off on this. Just the way he reacts to people saying the Orton match sucked, and to the way he reacted to the person saying, "Why would you guys do a regular match?"
Nah, that's not his person.
That's not him on Instagram.
Nah, that's not his personality. Isn't touting this could be the greatest match of all time. I can't.
No, his. I'm not saying that is. I'm saying that his personality is someone who. I don't think he'd signed to have creative take over the storyline and him not having the input. He absolutely knows what they're doing. He's absolutely in line with it because he keeps telling people to wait and see what happens next. He absolutely knows what's going on.
I 100% agree with that, but I don't think that. I think the part of them selling this match, there's two different types of energies around this match. And there's the stuff that's happening in the ring, and there's the stuff of how this match is actually being promoted outside of that. That I think but I think they may not. It doesn't line up to me.
It doesn't. His promo doesn't line up because it's obviously Orton wants to have the greatest match ever. Edge doesn't think he can do it, and that's where it's
have the greatest match ever. Orton thinks he can beat Edge in a wrestling match, but I don't know if he wants to have the greatest match ever. All this conclusion of it is because of what Charlie has said, and she said it twice. She said it to Enro once, and so that to me, they is not Edge and Randy Orton, because what Edge and Randy Orton have been doing has been trying to tell a story.
This is a rib.
I think so.
This is a rib. I'm sorry. Like I know we can sit and analyze it, and I do feel you, but I think on the larger end of it, this is a rib to people. I think they 100% know what they're doing. I think that they 100% know what they're going to have that match be, and I think that the way that they do this match is that if they gave us 40 minutes at Mania, they're going to give us like 1 minute at Backlash, and then it's going to be some underhanded shit that Orton does to get his win back. Because honestly, Meelz, I don't see this ending until SummerSlam also with some type of big gimmick match.
I see it ending the next pay-per-view.
And
I don't think they go past 3 pay-per-views. Extreme Rules, I think it is.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That makes sense. I really do, because I think there will be something with a weapon, and then that'll be where it ends off at. And you know, your mileage may vary with whether you like that or not. But it's gonna be 1-1 going into July. I'll say that much. It's gonna be 1-1.
Yeah.
But really good promo from Edge on this show as well. What else?
Really good promo from Nikki Cross as well on the show. Did you see that?
She banged off. She banged off.
Billy was about to go off real quick. She was about to get real spicy, and then Nikki was like, no, sorry. Doing too much of that was a British accent.
Yeah,
I can't do Scottish.
That was.
I can't do Scottish. But no, they're giving the Iconics, and you know, we don't talk about the Iconics much in a good light. They're giving them kind of an edge, which I feel like they need long term, because yes, they are incredibly funny together. But I do think they need an edge to compete in the women's division. And for a long time, they've been these kind of like marshmallowy ass tag team. But now you get to incorporate them, and they have a little bit more of an edge, and they have a little bit more of a reason. And Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have a little bit more of something to bite onto in terms of a challenger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this segment, I mark it as notable because it looked like the first time they were actually trying with the women's tag team division. That's what I got from this segment. And it may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but I was like, yes, this is something good in the right direction.
Real quick, so we can wrap up Raw. How'd you feel about Kevin Owens losing to Angel Garza? I still think that they're kind of day to day with him as far as him coming off that injury.
I was like, yo, is Kevin washed? What the hell is going on here? The man got jumped immediately, and then he got beaten kind of cleanly.
You notice his matches aren't really that long, or else he's in a tag match where he's on the apron. I think he might still be recovering.
Yeah. I mean, I know he has to lose for them to get anywhere. If they're doing a program, maybe Angel Garza, Kevin Owens, maybe Andrade, Kevin Owens, who knows? But it was interesting. But you know what? It's one match. I'm not going to say anything. But they tend to do this thing with Kevin. Kevin has lost a lot, is all I'm saying. Especially in that Seth program. I mean, he won the big one, yeah, for sure. But in the process, it's like, how many times does he have to? Is he just going to be a perennial loser who only wins when it's like when it matters? Like, I don't know how to feel about that.
All of our wrestlers got to win all the time.
Nah, it's not even that. But it's like, you got to win. You got to look competitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I supposed to believe you as a
he got
jumped for everything if you don't even win? Nah,
he jumped coming off.
Yeah.
He got jumped. He
jumped a lot.
I don't get where you're going at there. I don't get it.
It seems like in terms of just like he loses a lot. I'm just saying, like he did get jumped. I'll say that. But then it's also like, you got to win matches. You know what I'm saying? Like, this should have been I don't say this should have been a match if he won, because if they started a program, they're starting a program. But it's like, these type of matches, like, at least give them that and then get jumped at the end of the match. Like, you don't have to continue every program by losing so many times.
You thought about this way longer than I did. I just thought, okay, he might be still injured.
Why would they have him wrestle if he was still injured? Yeah.
Not like still injured, but like he's still not up to having like 20-minute matches yet, you know?
Yeah.
It's probably not up. I didn't think too hard of it. Street Profits, Viking Raiders leading to the main event. Real fucked up that the Raiders couldn't even help out their boys, but I enjoyed the golf stuff.
Very nice. Just very nice. I think it was another great look. for everyone involved. Can't say much more about it than I've said all the other weeks. This is great stuff. And the fact that
more long game for that match.
Yeah. And I thought it was a nice touch that it led to a main event. Street Profits in the main event of Monday Night Raw against Bobby Lashley and MVP. And did they win the match?
They won by DQ.
Yeah, they won by DQ. So, first of all black people, main event of Raw. I love it. This is most black people in the main event of any WWE show of all time. And then, they're building. It's a nice little intersecting thing. The Bobby Lashley MVP thing. They're still doing the Drew and the Bobby thing. It's getting good. I mean, it's good to me.
I like it.
This is what Drew and Bobby do. Like, I'm not going
to listen. I want to like Bobby Lashley. So anything that they do to make me like Bobby Lashley, I'm all for it because I want to like him, and I love him right now.
Do you think the MVP thing is good for him?
100%. I think it's better than MVP being in the ring, but he can he's a good talker, and I think he's only gotten better. And I think that he's focused, and I'm just a real big fan of what they're doing with MVP. I'm intrigued into what Lana's going to do, coming out of this as well. I think the Drew, obviously, like I said last week, Drew and Bobby, we know it's going to bang. And, I'm a big fan of it. I know a lot of people were upset at the end when people were holding them back. They were like social distancing and all that stuff, right?
I think the rules are over in Florida. I think social distancing has burned away. In the state of Florida, social distancing no longer exists. People are in restaurants, clubs, beaches. I don't think it exists anymore.
People were like, what did they say something about social distancing and then break the rules? Like, I mean, why did the government do it?
Bada bing. There you go.
Why the government do it? But yeah, really enjoyable episode of Raw. I mean, I thought this week's was probably the strongest week of the Corona programming that they've had so far. And hopefully next week we see more. I'm interested in seeing SmackDown with the crowd this week. So
yeah, I'm interested in seeing that too. Also, one other shout out I want to give, not shout out because I know you'd hate it. AEW had a pay-per-view over the weekend. I know you didn't see it. I just know you didn't. I know you're not going to see it. But Double or Nothing, the second part, I guess Double or Nothing 2, like Double or Nothing and more. Great main event. That's all I can say. The Stadium Stampede match, great main event. And a couple of great decisions. You saw Moxley versus Brody Lee. That was a very brutal match in terms of the physicality. I thought it was right. They put the belt on Hikaru Shida, defeating Nyla Rose, so that was good. Can't vouch for the other stuff, but I'll say those three last matches kind of made the main card, and I know they'll talk it a lot more. They will talk a lot more about it on the War Report this week, so make sure you tune into that show. But yeah, just great match. That's all I want to say. I wanted to add my 2 cents in. I'm not going to bore you with my AEW praise this episode.
Or any. That was the week in pro wrestling. Thank you guys for listening to the A Show with myself and Meelz. Of course, you can follow us at RNC Radio Live. Follow me at OGJohnny5 and Meelz at Meelz TV. So until next time, thank you all for listening. Please stay safe and wash your hands. See ya.
The A Show where the big boys play.
So I let you kind of. Oh, we did say big boys play.
Yeah, we did big boys play. I was gonna say money. There we go. Money. Oh, you have to say yeah.
Oh, you want me to say yeah? Okay. You do it again.
I want you. All right, money.
Yeah. There we go. Right.
All right. See,
I sounded like
post.
No, I'm not saying that. I could just put it. Okay, whatever. All right, we're out. See you guys next week.
See ya.